wake up every day feeling good. I wake up every day feeling good. I wake up every day feeling good. I wake up every day feeling good.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Ahmed. Wow! That's crazy.
I wasn't ready.
That's so crazy. And
I was
this
still
is
chewing.
That's true. And this is the Brotherly Love podcast. How are you guys doing? This is episode 27. Hope you guys having a great day so far, whether it be morning time, whether it be nighttime, evening. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping it how it is.
Good morning, beautiful, beautiful people. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so. Yes, so.
I'm back, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Shoot, how are you feeling, bro?
Bro, honestly, I feel great, man.
I do too. I don't know why. Like, I woke up on a... Actually, no, I do know. Because last time we were talking, you told me about having a nighttime routine. So I really took time because, like, especially the past, like, 2 weeks, bro, like, school's been on my ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been, like, every single day I have, like, 2 meetings. I got to do these assignments, projects, whatever. So I came back home, and it was, like, 9:30. And initially, I'm just like, bro, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to sleep. But I could tell something in my mind. I was like, I need to write some shit down. So I wrote down everything that happened yesterday. I was just trying to be mindful, like, okay, what did I do this time, at this time? Who did I talk to? All these other things, and just how I was feeling in every single moment. And it revealed so much. I just kept going and going and going. My mind was just going. And it was crazy to see the effect that writing had on my mental. Because as soon as I wrote it down, wallahi, Luffy, my mind was at peace. You know, like it was crazy to see. Yeah.
Write out your pains.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I was talking to my friend on the phone because I came back and I was listening to my old music. And I was just like, yo, like some of these tracks, like I never released ever or showed anyone. I was like, why haven't I dropped it, right? And then I started to think back to my catalog and think back to everything in that kind of sort. And I was like, I think I just needed to experience life a little bit more so that way the content on the music is raw, it's authentic, you grasp a moment.
Yeah, you can revisit it and revamp it.
Yeah, definitely.
And put it out in a way that you couldn't even conceive before. I look at that a lot with like my writings, for instance, because like there's a lot of stuff that I have written that I've never put out, you know, quote unquote published or anything like that. And like, I believe it's the same sentiment. You know, it's like, I need to go experience life and go through certain challenges and experiences so that I can revisit those writings and like put in the work so that it will like come out on like the level that I want it to come out to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think a lot of times we force ourselves to either write or to stick into our creative outlets. And I think a lot of times that can actually be very detrimental on us. You know, like I know I was listening to, there is a interview with Big Sean and Joe Budden, and it's called like the Pull-Up Series. So so Joe Budden he just invites people on and they just have a conversation. And, you know, Big Sean was saying, he was like, yeah, like honestly, for a while, I was just kind of out of it. Like he didn't really feel like himself. He didn't really make music. You know what I'm saying? Like he was going through so much. At the same time, because of those life experiences, when he did go record, every single, like, I'm not sure if you listened to Detroit too.
I heard it was fire.
Bro, amazing. Like it's rare for me to listen to an album all the way through. And maybe like, there's only like maybe one song I was like, I don't like that right now. And then it grew on me. You know, I was like, yo, like this is how you know that you must take in the essence of life in order for you to create something so beautiful. Because, you know, life imitates art. Art imitates life, you know?
He's in his bag, you know.
That's how I saw it, yeah. Shout out Big Sean, bro. That man was in his bag. He still is in his bag.
And the symbolic thing about it is like being in your bag means like you in the darkest place possible. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do you think so?
Yeah. I think to create at a super high level, you got to be alone.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to be in your own. And in tune with yourself. Like you got to be in your bag. Like you got to be in what you know and what you're afraid of at the same time.
That's
You know,
so
it's what you
crazy.
carry around with you.
Yeah.
It's your talent. It's your special spark that you have that no one else has. It's your bag and you're in it. You know what I'm saying? That's a dangerous place to be because that's where chaos and creativity meet.
That's true. I never considered that.
Like crazy is just the other side of creative.
Yeah, I can definitely agree. I thought it was just interesting because before I went to sleep, I probably mentioned this in an earlier podcast, but there is a scene from Naruto where he's meditating in front of this waterfall, and pretty much there's a war going on outside. He doesn't know about it yet, but there's a war going on outside, and they're telling him like you need to have mastery over yourself in order to control the nine-tailed fox that's inside of you, the demon that's inside of you. And so he's meditating in the waterfall, and then there's an evil version that walks out of that waterfall. And at first they're scrapping, you know what I'm saying? Just on site, just like, right? For like hours. And he gets so tired, he's like, yo, I can't win, right? And he realizes like, wait, you're me. So you know every single move that I'm going to do. So you're just gonna mimic exactly what I'm going to do. And then he realizes, at first it was daunting. He was like, this is a lot of pressure. He went back in with a whole different set in mind, and he was like, let me confront my heart real quick. And one thing that that he needed to confront was that he didn't sign an autograph at the ramen shop or something like that, because for him, he was like, oh, this is kind of weird. And so he did an autograph. He was like, look, this is my autograph. This is who I am. And then the evil version was just crying about pain and the torment that he felt for so many years. And so the evil version was running up, just about to punch the hell out of him, right? He hugs him. He just hugs him. And he's like, it's okay to feel how you're feeling. But you're me. And we can't keep that like harboring inside of us for so long. Yeah.
Those shows, man.
Bro, anime shows, bro, they have so many like life lessons in them, man, honestly.
No, I didn't watch too many of them, so.
You watch Yu-Gi-Oh, right? I'm watching Yu-Gi-Oh right now.
I think I played it more than I watched it, to be honest. I did like watching it. I mean, yeah.
No, Yu-Gi-Oh is actually, it's a funny ass anime, I'm not gonna lie.
Funny?
Because you know it's made for kids in terms of how like they're talking and stuff like that. It's like the power of friendship. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's kind of funny. I wanted to touch up on a topic that a friend of mine reached out to me. He was like, yo, like I listened to your guys' podcast, but I've never seen you guys talk about this certain thing. And it could be kind of sensitive. I wouldn't say like a trigger warning, but just it could be sensitive. Addictions, right? And he was like, yo, like for a while he was addicted to weed and like pills, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And he was like wondering like, yo, how can I kind of just better myself or get out of that mind space? And I guess the question is and the thing is with addictions in general, it's not always drugs or pills, you know what I'm saying? Addictions can be in literally any fashion. If you have a dependency on anything, that's an addiction. So have you ever came across something in your life that you had an addiction for?
Of course. Of course, man. You know, I think I have a very all or nothing personality. So a lot of times I find it really easy for myself to get engrossed in something beyond a healthy level. And even with things that are usually defined as healthy, you know, so even in terms of working out, you know, like there's ways of using working out and exercising as escapism, you know, and like in that way it becomes an addiction where it's like, yo, I need to do this thing, right? And in me doing it, I feel justified in me not doing other things that I know I need to be doing. Or, you know, I'm going to just do this, and it creates a false narrative of productivity. Not even sense of productivity, a false narrative of productivity that you're able to tell yourself, but it's not how you really feel. Like you really feel like, yo, I should have done this, that, or the other. So like even with healthy, quote unquote, things like working out, for instance, or exercising, like there's easy ways to become addicted to it. But of course, like that's not like what you're kind of hinting at, right?
I mean,
like,
that's a good addiction, quote unquote, but there's also bad addictions as well.
Yeah, and like that same personality trait of mine has had me addicted to a lot of different things over my years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was addicted to weed. You know, I was addicted to pornography. I was addicted to masturbation. You know, and those were all things that I had to learn to overcome as a man and as a individual, so that I could like tame myself and redirect that energy into other things and become addicted, quote unquote, into more fruitful ventures. You know, and it's not to say like I never slip up or I never, or, you know, no, I'm a human being, bro. Like, you know, I still, you know, smoke weed. I still have sex on occasion. I really don't look at porn. I'm not really a fan, but on occasion I'll look, you know what I'm saying? And at all those times, that's me falling from grace. And I feel in that moment, my downfall almost. And it's not immediately. You know what I'm saying? It's not, I mean, with some stuff, for instance, like it happens.
Yeah, like as soon as it happens, you're like, oh my God, why'd I, you know what I'm saying? Why'd I even do that? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like, and it's almost like a natural male reaction. The crazy thing is like the guilt that comes from masturbating. People talk about that a lot and stuff like that. And it's interesting for me because like, I've never felt guilt after I've had sex, for instance.
Yeah.
Like I've never had that feeling, but I felt it with masturbation. Some people could say like that's a social conditioning or after watching pornography or whatever. Like, and some people could say like that's a social conditioning that came into you and that's why you feel this deep religious guilt or conviction or whatever. But I just look at it as like a signal that this joint ain't for me.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This is what I was going to say about it. And I'm glad that you brought up like good addictions and then also like negative addictions. I feel like for me, in terms of like my good addiction is that every day in some type, way, form, fashion, whatever, I do something creatively. You know what I'm saying? Like I never let myself just not do something, whether it be journaling, whether it be writing music, whether it be making content. Like I always want to make sure that I'm improving in some kind of way so that when I look back from a year from now, I'm like, yo, like it's. So I remember those days when I was struggling to do this, or I remember those days I was struggling to do that. But in terms of negative addictions, yeah, I can definitely agree. Like I remember I was 18 in college, a freshman, and if you asked me like, oh, like can you summarize like your like first semester or even like kind of like your second semester of like the days or the months that happened? I can't. For the simple fact that every single day I smoked a blunt. I would wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and go outside and smoke. That's how you know someone's like, all right, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I would literally wake up and the first thing that was on my mind was to smoke. And then over time, especially when I was like, I think it was a sophomore, and then into my junior year, I realized I was like, I have a pornography addiction. You know what I'm saying? And like, I think a lot of dudes, they're afraid to admit that because as society, it's seen as like, oh, dudes are dogs. What do you mean? Like, they're always horny. They're always at it. But that's the thing, right? Dudes are not always horny. They're looking for intimacy. That's the reason being of why they watch it, right? Is that there's a craveness to have intimacy in their life, but they receive that energy of wanting intimacy and equate it to horny. And I think that's like the biggest like flaw that I've had to like understand. And I think that's the reason why I've been journaling for like a year and a half. And I would learn through every single journal entry, I'm like, oh, I relapsed this day. And I count it. And obviously sometimes it'll be worse than others. Sometimes I'm like, I don't even think about it. And then it'll come back, right? But that's the thing. I don't think that anyone relapsing is even a bad thing. I think that, and as long as I feel like the second that you claim that you want to stop, of course, there's going to be challenges. But every single barrier that you relapse or that you face, that just means you're one step closer. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, right now, I would say I'm in definitely a better spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I have a lot more mastery over it. I feel like I'm able to understand my reasonings and stuff. But at the same time, I know it can eat people alive. Like, it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, like, for instance, with smoking, like, I don't mind getting high from time to time. I mean, I don't.
Who doesn't?
Exactly. I don't have an issue with that. My issue is like smoking. Like, it's so like I like the act of it, and it's bad for your lungs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, like that's something that I have to work on. The other two haven't been really that big of an issue now in my life, and a lot of that's because like I've learned, like you said, like you hit on something huge earlier, and I want to go into like the difference between sex and intimacy, and the psychology behind that, that a lot of people are like missing. But for me, of course, like you have natural urges and stuff like that as a man, but I was also in a relationship for a while, so it wasn't an issue for me. And in a relationship, it's like, it's idiotic almost for me to think about masturbating. Like, not like I've never done it in a relationship, but it's like, I'm saving this for my girl. That's the mentality that I have like in the relationship. So it's like, why would I want to cheat? And
Unfortunately,
not cheat, but but cheat what I can give her sexually.
And unfortunately, I faced that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Everyone does.
Yeah,
bro.
like there was.
We're just being honest about this.
Yeah, man, I'm just being 100% honest. Like that's the thing. Like when I'm on here, there's no reason to hide. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, don't get me wrong. Like there's definitely stuff that I battle with and that I face, but I know for a fact if I'm able to be vulnerable about something that I'm dealing with, I know for a fact one person is going to be like, you deal with that, I deal with that. And it gives a sense of community and understanding that I'm like, oh, I'm not the only one that goes through these things, right? So I was in a relationship before like that, yeah, we were having sex or whatever, but like I was still doing that because at the time I wasn't being mindful of wanting intimacy and equating to horny. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, but continue.
Let's go in on that in a second because, like you said, like a lot of, let's talk specifically guys for a second, right? A lot of guys, they can't tell the difference between their need for intimacy and their desire for sex. Yeah. Right. And because of that, they're not able to A, develop healthy relationships with women, and B, redirect their sexual energy towards helping them fulfill their purpose.
Transmutation.
Exactly. Like, that sexual energy that you have as a man is the strongest force that is alive. And
you can feel it too.
Bro, and the thing people don't realize is that it compelled us as men to do everything. Yeah. Literally everything. Like the reason deep down psychologically that I want to be this huge, successful, blah, 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 blah. And I'm out here doing this and working and I'm in the gym and I realized I was stuttering. I glitched. Luffy just buffered.
You remember that YouTube video? It was like the Book of Eli, the rapper guy. I did it,
bro. Oh my gosh, man. Book of Eli to all my subscribers. I played a street car named Desire.
There was that one line who was like, you look like Rosie O'Donnell in a bisexual
bridal shower. Yo, bro, shout out our guy Eli Porter, man. Yo, hit us up if you want to be on the pod. Shout out Eli Porter.
No, yeah, but continue.
I don't even remember where I was.
We're talking about why you have this like such a big psychological want to be this big, successful.
So men, okay. Why are all these dudes in the gym working out? They want to get laid.
I would argue, but I also understand in terms of the physical needs, yes.
Why are they, why are we out doing our business? Why are we trying to get, a wife and get laid and have kids? And why are we out doing, it's all to get laid. You know what I'm saying? And if it just kind of, you simplify things to that extent to a degree, then it becomes real obvious that like the men are pursuing the women, like they're positioning themselves so that the women pursue them almost. They're competing with each other to position themselves. Yeah. So that and the women are doing the same thing. Yeah. It's like, it's a competition for position.
Competition for position.
Yeah.
Competition. No, position. No, I definitely agree. Like I remember like I said, the past 2 weeks have been a lot in terms of school. So it required me to like just buckle down. I'm going to the library every day for 3 to 4 hours. I'm studying my ass off. Like I'm just focused, right? And I remember it was crazy. It was no, it was actually yesterday. So I went to go get boba tea, right?
Oh,
fire,
yeah, you remember you
fire,
told me that.
bro. Mango passion fruit, fire.
Yeah, boba tea's disgusting though.
You. And so I went to Kroger, right? Because Wilder was like, "Yo, can you get me like this iced coffee creamer thing?" I'm like, "All right, cool." So I walk in and like I don't know why, but like the instant I walked in, I could just tell like there was this gravitating energy towards me. Like everywhere I was walking, like people were just naturally just turning. And you can like, and I know like with a lot of dudes, like I know a lot of dudes who do like they masturbate like once a day, who do twice a day, like 3 times a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was something for me a long time ago that was common. You know what I'm saying? But like now it's like I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? Every time that I quote unquote relapse, I realize I'm like, yo, this kind of dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not really beneficial
At all.
Right? like even like, yeah, but continuing on, like even if you go 3 days without doing it, right? There's just a different sense and a different feeling behind who you are. You know, like I remember one time, this was in like October, like late October. My friend had like this birthday weekend and I went up there. Great time, you know what I'm saying, with my friends. Obviously COVID safe, you know what I'm saying. And I remember when I walked in the room initially, I could tell I was like, yo, I feel like this shit right now. But not in an egotistical way, but just more so like I know what I bring to the table. So yeah, I think it's something that men all have to battle with. But I think there's just a certain point in time you just start hating the fact that you're lacking in something, right? Like I don't want to wake up feeling like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to wake up like, oh, I have to do this and do. I want to be excited. I want to be like ambitious and be like, yo, I get to do this. I get to go work out. Boom, boom, boom. I get to have these conversations with my friends. Make these moves. You know what I'm saying? Like you should be excited for life itself. Like, yeah.
Yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's like going back to, I realized I don't think I concluded the point, but
Uno reverse card.
Yeah. That energy, that sexual energy is the strongest energy. Like you think back to, like go back to why do dudes, like a lot of guys be in the club and they don't even like being in the club. But
that's so weird.
But why? It's not weird though. If you go back to that central thing is they're trying to get laid. You know what I'm saying? And like, and in that, like, and I'm saying all those times I'm saying they're trying to get laid. What I'm saying is look how much energy is being spent on even just positioning yourself for sexual success.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in that same way, like a lot of people try to do it more directly. Like for instance, like they spend a lot of energy swiping on dating apps and creating profiles. And they spend a lot of energy getting dressed up and going out and doing this and trying to meet people. And they could take all that energy on a basic level. And I'm not even talking metaphysical, oh my God, just on that basic level, your time, your money, your resources, that type of energy, your human capital, and putting it into growing your business, into, like I said, positioning yourself, because you can position short term, like at the club, like, okay, let me go get dressed up, position myself so that tonight I'll be successful. Or you can look at it from the viewpoint of like, let me take that same energy and position it so that I'm gonna always be successful. You know what I'm saying? And that's what men who, instead of going to the club or instead of, you know, jacking off and spending those however long time to do that, they're taking that same amount of energy and just grinding and just putting it into, yo, I had this, you know, since they have extra bursts of energy, oh no, let me call up my friend, and that sparks a relationship that does this and that, and then you could be talking to this and that, and then you guys can end up starting a business, and next thing you know, you've positioned yourself where you don't need to go to the club. Like the party comes to you because people want to be around you.
It's reminding me of a Drake line. Well, all of my closest friends out partying, I'm just here making all the music that they party to. I felt that, you know what I'm saying? Like
party on.
I remember like in my sophomore year, bro, I didn't go to any parties. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like one at the beginning, after that, I was like, nah, this ain't really for me. And it's not to like down it at all, because I believe like you should celebrate. You know what I'm saying? But like when it was like a every weekend thing, people were going out partying, I'm like, yo, y'all's priorities right now in your life isn't where my priorities are right now. And I knew that it would take a long time for me to be where I am right now, mentally, emotionally, spiritually too. You know, like I always see a lot of gurus and like spokespeople when it talks about the sacral energy and like transmuting. They always talk about like grinding and get your business done and da-da-da-da-da, right? Cool, that's great. At the same time, there's a lot of emotional backlog that you've never addressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's a quote, I forgot who it is, but it's like, men have two lives. The first life and the second life when they realize they only have one life. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a certain transition or turning point that you have in your life where you realize, damn, the energy I was spending on wanting to get women's attention. A lot of men don't want to realize it or admit it, but a lot of times they spend time wanting a woman's attention. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, I've never done that. Nigga, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a like romantic, you know what I'm saying? I love like talking to women. It's so good. But like I said, there's a certain point where you realize I'm done playing this game. It's kind of stupid. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, let me hone in on my craft. Let me talk to those that I love and I care for. Let me build the relationships and build the connections genuinely. Not because I want something outside of it, but genuinely because I'm like, yo, I love what you're doing. Let's talk. And that's it. And that's how things just start, like, it's like a domino effect. Things just start multiplying and multiplying, and then it creates something even bigger. Like, I don't know what it is, but I've always noticed, like, the times where I would transmute that sacral energy, right? That sexual energy into something else, and I continuously do things, blessings would fall in my lap a lot more freely than before. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think before you were blocking a lot of those blessings,
of course,
whether you knew it or not. Yeah. Because while God was trying to connect with you, you were trying to connect with some girl on Tinder. Because while God was trying to send you, you know, some new opportunity, you were too busy, you know, jacking off.
Yeah.
You know, literally. And that's you know, going back to the core of it. You know, you asked the question of, you know, almost why is there so many people in this trap? Why are so many people in that first life? You know, why are so many men, they haven't reached that second life where that switch hasn't come on, where they're like, what am I doing? You know, and it's not a singular thing too. It's not like that's the one almost like caution or caveat that I want to throw in is that,
of course,
you know, I've battled with, going back to addictions, like I've battled with different addictions and different challenges and struggles throughout my life. Mm-hmm. You know, like when I was 18, I was partying. You said every weekend. I promise you, 3 days a week, every week. For Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. When I got a little bit more money, when I was 21, 22, I was addicted to cocaine. Waking up, doing lines of coke, smoking weed to come down, you know, drinking coffee. I was losing weight, you know, like just, and as different stages in your life come, there's different things that you're going to have to overcome. You know what I'm saying? But going back to it, you said, why are so many people stuck in that first mindset? Well, how come they can't reach that second one and realize, what is it that I'm doing? I need to make some major switch when they're in that challenge or struggle, because they're going to come to us at all different times. Shit.
No, I was actually going to touch up on that. I mean, I can give you like certain like ideas I had, and maybe that might spark something for you.
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay, cool. Okay. Go ahead.
Here it is. Yeah, it just takes a second sometimes to connect all the dots.
It's okay.
It's the difference between happiness and satisfaction. You know, like you were saying, you wanting to create satisfaction in your relationships with other people, you know, instead of, you know, you jacking off or, you know, going to smoke a blunt for the fourth time today.
I'm so dead ass. That's exactly how it was, bro.
Yeah, bro. You know, when you were like, bro, you know, I wake up and I immediately smoke. I was like, just one?
Just one?
I was like,
Pussy?
bro, like,
No. Yeah.
nah,
like,
but you know, it goes back to it's happiness versus satisfaction. I think we have a culture that pushes short-term happiness as a long-term goal, where happiness is just an emotion, just like sadness and anything else, and that means it's fleeting. And what you should try to find is something long-term and sustainable, like satisfaction through the relationships that you have with other people, because that general sense of satisfaction and fulfillment will give you something to go back to when times get tough.
Yeah. Peace of mind and contentment. More than success or more than happiness or whatever. And the thing is that short-term happiness can be in anything, right? Let's say, for instance, if you were driving down the highway and you see a sign that says like, oh, food exit. If you look at all the logos of all the fast food signs, a lot of them are red and yellow. Yeah, McDonald's is red and yellow, but there's always ones that like have like specific things, because those certain colors psychologically in our head means like happiness, whatever. So we immediately go. That's the reason why McDonald's is like one of the biggest fast food industries, right? What I was gonna say is I think another main reason why that men and women, I don't want to make this a certain men thing, because I remember I didn't learn until like 3 or 4 months ago that like women have post-nut clarity too. I thought that was just a guy thing, right? But no, a lot of girls were like telling me like, no, like I deal with that issue a lot. And I was like, huh, so this is a universal thing. It's not just men. So I think what it is the reason why that men and women can't pass that phase of their life, or at least start to make the efforts to get into the next phase of life, is that there's an emotional blockage that they haven't addressed yet, right? Like a lot of times for men and women, pornography was introduced to them either late elementary school or early middle school. You know what I'm saying? Like the kids with the phones, like I remember elementary school, like late elementary school or early middle school, niggas with the PSP, bro. These niggas had like porn videos downloaded on their PSPs. And you know what I'm saying? Like they would show everyone. So everyone's exposed to this. So it's like, because you see it as like a satisfaction, especially when you get into like puberty, like when you first get into puberty, you have so much like sexual energy that you never had before. So you're like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Right? And the first instinct that you have is, I'm going to do this, right? And yeah, you experiment with it, cool. At the same time, that becomes an outlet, your only outlet, and you don't grow from that. So like in high school or even college, like they still have that same problem because there was another emotional layer that they needed to face and they were unable to face it. It's hard though. It's not an easy thing. I'm gonna just say that right now. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I know it all. I discovered it all. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a human. Like I still deal with these things every day, you know? And like, I always learn emotional layers and like why, like either toxic masculinity or the reason why I feel this way when this topic is brought up. And it all roots to either a past relationship where something was traumatizing, but you didn't realize it at the time, or a childhood trauma where something happened, you didn't realize it at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you gotta speak your traumas out.
Hell yeah.
You gotta, and the power of speaking it out is that to get to the point of speech, you have to mentally process.
Yeah.
You have to sit there and think about, why do I feel this way? And what were the different connections? And then you're able to think of and get to the words that finally accurately describe what it is exactly that happened. And that experience is emotionally releasing.
Yeah.
That's like pulling out one little pin or one little blockage from that drain pipe. You know what I'm saying? That so that things can flow freely, so that God can flow freely through you, and you can connect with him and get to that higher spiritual self where you're able to create and live in your purpose on a day-by-day basis, and you're not consuming yourself with damn, like, yo, let me go talk to Shawty over here, yo, we gotta go out tonight, yo, let me go, you know, you spend 3 hours trying to get some weed and getting bottles for girls, and you don't even get laid that night. And you did all of it not to have fun. You did all of it to get laid. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you spent all that energy like on the wrong thing.
Yeah, and that's such a big thing I had to learn. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, especially when I was going out, whatever, my instinct was like, all right, I'm gonna bag as many shorties as I can. You know what I'm saying? And then like you just start to realize when you put that energy out into the universe, people can read it very easily. They can just tell like, oh, like I know what your intentions are, and they're very like put off by it. And I've always noticed, regardless. I remember it was my 21st birthday, and it was there was a gala, a Black Excellence Gala. Beforehand, there was an art show. I was part of the art show. I went there, bro. I had the greatest, like, the energy in that room, bro. Great. I just talked to everyone, had a genuinely good time. Like, yo, how y'all doing? Da-da-da-da. Bought an art piece, you know what I'm saying? It was great. And then afterwards, I was like, I'm heading out. I'm about to go turn up with my friends. That was the mission. I was like, I'm just here to have a great time with my friends, be present with my friends. That was the purpose. And I remember, like, my friends like were like the girls and part of the squad, because like there's Maya, Alexis, and Ruth, and there's Carl, me, and Brandon. So it's like an equal balance. And they were always telling me, like, when we were dancing, like, yo, like, Shawty's looking at you, Ahmed. I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, yo, bro, like, she's mad staring at you. I was like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't pay any mind. And that alone let me know, like, oh, I've progressed even beforehand. Because before I used to be like, oh, let me try to talk to these chicks and da-da-da. No, I'm going to have a great time. And then these chicks are going to talk to me. Exactly. And that's a plus. That's not like the end goal. That's just a plus. So, yeah.
Exactly. You just have a good time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, life is really super simple.
We just make it complicated.
But it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's just not easy, man.
Because of our experiences and how we have to dive into, like I said, like every single day, bro, there's something mentally I have to clear. There's something emotionally I have to clear about myself.
Every day.
And it can get very tiring. It's like, I don't want to deal with this. So then you resort back to who you once were. Applying
escapism.
Yeah, and you applied the past modules.
Let me go smoke this blunt.
Yeah, and like, and I get it though at the same time, right? Like sometimes it's like, sometimes you need to. But when you do those things, like, feel those low moments. Like, I know a lot of people want to escape it because they're like, oh, I don't want to deal with this pain. But if you're able to feel that much pain, imagine how much contentment that you can feel even afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
Kevin Samuels.
Kevin
Samuels. I was watching some of his clips on Instagram, and he has like these animation bits now where it's like a parallel of him and the woman that they're talking to. But low key, I'm like, yo, this could be like real depending on who you give it to, like misogynistic because of how the cartoon is and stuff. Why do you think that? Oh, question for men, because I don't want this to be like women, because I hate people who do that shit. It's so annoying, right? Why do you think that men expect so much from women? Because I remember the question we did before was, why do women expect so much from men, I believe. So why do men expect so much from women?
That's a real good question, honestly. You brought it up in the context of Kevin Samuels. So I'm going to answer within the context of Kevin Samuels, kind of, okay? Mm-hmm. And then I'll bring it out to the general public. Okay. And the reason I have to make that distinction is because Kevin Samuels talks to like, and when I say talks to, obviously a lot of people listen to him that don't fit the bill.
Of course.
Right? But when I say talks to, I'm saying that he's speaking about like a small minutia of the population, like 15, 20% of the population at most, maybe 10% really, like of the population. Like that's the percentage of people that he's talking to. And if you're in that population, then I disagree. Like, not I disagree, but then I don't think that it's too much necessarily to ask for certain things. I think generally, the question is why do men expect so much from women?
Yes.
I think if you're, just let's put it on the general spectrum and get straight to it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a normal guy, what you should expect is a normal girl.
Of course.
If you're a great guy, it's not wrong to expect a great girl.
Mm. Okay.
That's ultimately what I think it comes down to. The issue arises in that a lot of people can't admit that they're average.
Mm.
And there's nothing wrong with being average. It's just seen as insulting. I'm average in different things, right? And you're average in different things. And
of course.
I'm great at certain things and you're great at certain things. But when we're talking specifically about the dating market, like you're evaluated on like certain things, right? And on those certain metrics, if you line up as average, you should expect someone average. Like, and this saying is like, for some reason, it's interesting to me that like me saying this on a very basic level, like, and Kevin Samuels just expressing this on a more pointed level has caused such uproar because that's ultimately what it comes down to. If you went to school and got C's all throughout high school, you wouldn't expect to go to Harvard or Yale or Princeton or whatever. You'd expect to go to your state school, maybe community college, like just what the normal average person does. You know what I'm saying? But if you got straight A's and you got a 1600 on the SAT, you can expect to get into a top university. It may not be Harvard. You know what I'm saying? But maybe you'll get Stanford. And that's cool, but you can expect that.
Or Cornell.
But I'm saying like you can expect that. And like that's ultimately what I think it like all it is that a lot of people don't know where they really rank when like, and that's because they don't know either A, what the metrics are, or B, how they stack up.
Do you think the lack of self-awareness comes from not being able to like see those metrics? Or do you think like the lack of self-awareness just comes from like just not being mindful of the actions that they're putting in?
I think it's the second one.
I
think it's for instance, right? If I'm 28-year-old man, 25-year-old man, whatever, and you're living at home, you can't expect for the top IG model, quote unquote, bad, whatever, to be coming after you because you're flawed in certain ways. You know what I'm saying? And like, so you have to be real about like what it is that you can offer someone and what other people can offer them and like why they would choose to mate with you. You know what I'm saying?
In a biological sense.
Yeah, like why would they choose to mate with you? And if you can be honest with yourself and be like, all right, like, yo, I drive a 2010 Toyota Camry, and I live at home and I make $45,000 a year and I'm still building, but I'm not really there. I'm like, 26 years old. It's like, all right, like you're doing some things, but in a lot of other areas, like you're not there. Like you're not, you can't, like, you got to just be real. Like, bro, you make $45,000. Like, that's good for you, but that's not good for you and the wife and you know what I'm saying? And especially if you consider, like, there's literally, like, your average, if you consider, bro, there's people who you add an extra zero onto that and that enters you into the 1%. Like, the people who make about $450,000 to $500,000 a year, that's about when you're getting into 1% type money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, you're completely average. You know what I'm saying? And some things are a little higher. Like, hey, you might have a little nice car, you make a little bit of money maybe or whatever, but like you live at home and like it just balances out to average. But like, and I don't think like people can be honest with that because they see themselves as their potential.
Bars. Yeah. No, I think a lot of times, even when I'm in public, right? I'll notice, let's say, for instance, I'm in public and there's like a certain, like, not a scuffle, but like a certain interaction that someone has with someone else. and like they're arguing about something, immediately they defend what they do and who I am and all these things, and they place such an importance on their lives or the things that they do. And I feel like that can honestly hinder you in so many ways, right? Like if you like, even like for myself, I don't put myself on such an important scale and I do all these things. No, because I know I'm like, even if I was like, let's say for instance, like the status of like Dwayne Johnson, right? This man is multi-millionaire famous, right? Those things don't equate to your worth as a person, right? So I feel like if I'm supposed to be this high value person, I have all this potential and I get into this argument with someone else, my first instinct shouldn't be, do you know who I am? That already, when I see a girl do that, when I see a dude do that, or like they just argue just to argue, you are below par to me. I'm like, you're not anything, because you really took your energy and decided I'm going to argue about this certain thing that involves my ego. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think the metrics in terms of the physical, right? The car, the money, the house, you know, that definitely is part of it. But there's also emotional aspects, right? Like I myself couldn't ask, I'm like, I want a fully stabilized emotional woman, and I still have work to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't ask for that. Like what I can ask for is I want someone who is diligently working on themselves every single day and we grow together. That's who I am right now. You know what I'm saying? Then we work together. Even like with money, I can't ask the world or like, oh, I deserve a woman to have 6 figures. I'm unemployed. You know, so it's like I don't know. I feel like it's because people value themselves a lot more than where they're actually placed in terms in the ranking of the world. So kind of like this, there's a actual state. And then there's the want kind of thing, like the full actualization of where you want to be. And sometimes there's a dissonance in them.
You said a lot of good things, bro.
Bars.
Yeah. We need a sound effect thing, like for...
Yeah, we
like
definitely do.
For, like, after you speak, I could be like, bars.
Oh, that would be fire.
Or another one, fire. Fire. It'd be like the Joe Budden podcast. It's porks.
It's porks. I hate the intro so bad of that. Because literally as soon as they start, at first...
No, Rory, I'm mad.
At first they have the little conversation, then they start, and then Joe Budden after every 2 words. I'm like, bro.
I'd like to announce, we are now, the Joe Budden podcast, is officially, moving to Patreon,
I don't understand. It reminds me, have you seen that Drake freestyle? And he was in the UK. And there was a certain, like, it wasn't with Tim Westwood.
Is it the 5-8? Oh, wait, freestyle, like, a long time ago?
No, not even a long time ago. It was actually pretty recent. He did a freestyle on this, like, UK radio. But it wasn't Tim Westwood. It was someone else. But literally, he was like, we have my man, boom, boom.
Oh, yeah.
My man Drake, boom,
I remember that.
Even when Drake was trying to talk, he's like, yeah, man, it's like, yo.
Drake in the building, doom. Oh my gosh, bro. Yeah, going back to it, bro. Kevin Samuels, like I said, I think he speaks to a certain segment of the population that all men want to be in. So a lot of men tune into and then get satisfaction from him telling a lot of women that they don't qualify for those men, even though a lot of men, I'm not saying all men who watch the show don't fit the segment, but I would easily wager majority of the people who watch his show don't fit the category of the type of man he's talking about, you know, and that's okay, you know, but I also think that a lot of them get some sort of unhealthy satisfaction from watching him rightfully, in a lot of ways, put women in their place who think that they deserve something that they don't. Just like he rightfully puts a lot of men in their place who think that they deserve a woman that they don't. You know, like, I completely agree with you. There is a huge emotional aspect to these, like, to the things. And he talks about that, you know, and I think, and he, you know, alludes to it a lot of times too. Like, I mean, I think for sure, like the way that, like for instance, a feminine woman, a woman who's attentive, she's not gonna get into an argument like that where she's gonna, and the same way that a man who's a man, you know what I'm saying? He's not a grown boy. He's not gonna get into an argument where he feels the need to raise his voice and express through his ego, like, do you know who I am? And blah, 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 and I could blah, 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 blah.
They take time to listen.
Exactly. Like that high value woman and high value man, like you're saying, like immediately they're going to cross someone like that off and be like, bro, I don't really care. Like I got other options because I'm high value. I got other options. So I don't need to deal with people who are emotionally immature. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I call it when you said like people get an unhealthy obsession with like watching that kind of content, I call it the Gary Vee effect.
Explain.
All right. So pretty much, if you don't know, Gary Vee is the spokesperson on, like, he's a motivation. We're on like 50 minutes.
Sorry.
No, you're good. He's like a motivational speaker. He also owns a Fortune 500 company. He's a really big content creator. He's been making content for like decades, right? And I remember, like, it was like 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, I found his content and it's very intriguing. You know what I'm saying? It's very inspiring as well. And it tells you like, yo, like chase your dreams, or like you have to be attentive. You have to knock down all the distractions and focus on your thing, which is very, very true. And I believe that what he's saying is completely the truth. At the same time, I fear for the viewers that they get this dopamine rush of motivation, right? And thinking that they're on that pace, right? But they haven't implemented these things. So it's like when people read the self-help books all the time, or they talk about all this self-help and da-da-da, but there's no action behind it. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, if we're going to be real, if you want to get to that high value position, if you want to be all these things, it's going to require some dirty work. You know what I'm saying? Like really just grinding out stuff. And it's good to listen to those things to get inspiration. But throughout the day, if you're not like, all right, I'm going to make, like, Kanye, this man made 5 beats a day for 3 summers. Do you know how, like, hard that is, bro? 5 beats a day? Like, that's hard as hell. Like, obviously, when you're a good producer, you're able to do it quickly. Still, creatively, though, that's a lot to do. But he was so, he was executing this so much so that when he got, to that point wherever he is, he knew it was his time. He's like, yeah, I've been manifesting this. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, bro. It's that same philosophy that everyone wants to be 1%. They don't want to put in the 1% type work. Because when the rubber really meets the road, do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to do it? Like, is your why big enough to overcome all the challenges and struggles? Because what ends up happening is that you might start off making $30,000 a year and you grind your way to 40, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And then you get to 45, 50, you get a nice job at 60, 70. You like, oh, I made it. And then you kind of just chilling there. And then like maybe, over the years, you slowly, just because of inflation, over the next 20 years, you move to like 80 grand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why did you cap out? And it's because like at a certain point, you got complacent. You got to the idea where it's like, where I'm currently at in what I'm doing is acceptable to me. And as long as you have that mentality, like you're going to stay in wherever you are. And that might be okay, just given what it is. But don't ask why you're not, making $500,000 a year when you stop putting in the work and drive at $70,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a 1-to-1 correlation of everything. Of course there's skill, and luck and genetics and whatever, people want to throw in there. But goddamn, it's the only variable you can control. So play it to the best of your ability. You feel me? Like,
that's true.
That's how I always look at it. Is like, yo, I can't control how, conventionally attractive I am. I can't control who birthed me, and where they birthed me and all that different stuff. But I can control how hard I work. I can control how prepared I am and where I present myself. And in that way, I may not be able to control opportunities, but when that opportunity comes, I'm going to snatch that shit. See, that's why we can't have one, because our shit would be going off just like Joe Budden's.
Bro. we be saying some real shit, bro.
We do, bro. We be dropping gems all
the time.
We be talking about this and that, and
it's crazy.
I know, man. That's the thing, is that when building up a catalog like this, though, of huge gems, it makes it so that when we grow and people look back, they'll be like, damn, these people have been doing this shit for a minute. Yeah. They've been saying this shit for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Especially the people who've been watching and rocking with us from the beginning. They're gonna know too. They're gonna be like, wow, I remember when, and they were talking about they've been doing this for how many years, and that was how many years ago when they started the podcast. So
it's wild. It's very, very wild.
Yeah, when we hit 100K subs at the end of this year,
it could happen.
It will happen, yo. This is it.
This is it. Nah.
Y'all gotta help us, yo.
Yeah.
Help us. If you guys enjoy our content, you guys enjoy.
That's true.
Yeah. Share it.
I think that was pretty good. That can wrap up, everything we talked about. We talked about addictions. We talked about the nighttime routine thing and how it affected us. We talked about what you want and where you actually are. Overall, great podcast.
I think so too, man. More things coming. So like I said,
more life.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah.
We got more equipment coming in. We got
facts,
different themes and topics and backdrops and stuff. We always investing into our craft. Yeah, we don't just sit here and talk about it. If you've been rocking with us for the past 20-some episodes, you've seen how we've grown this. We're going to continue to grow. So grow with us. You feel me? Hit that like button, subscribe, everything, whatever. Follow us. Bro. This man over here just doing the Birdman, like.
No, but yeah, thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in. We deeply, deeply appreciate it. It only goes up from here. And this is Ahmed and Lofy, and this is the Brotherly Love Podcast.
Everything is as it should be. Everything is as it should be. Everything is as it should be. I wake up every day feeling good. I wake up every day feeling good. I wake up every day feeling good. I wake up every day feeling good.